Good morning, East St. Paul residents, communities, neighbors. This is your Un-Bougie Foodie. Thank you so much for joining me once again this morning. As always, every Saturday at 10 a.m., right here on WEQY 104.7, the voice of the East Side. Again, we appreciate you listening in. Please keep in mind that you are currently listening to WEQY LP St. Paul. As always, I am going to be bringing you information about food. And let's just get started. I mean, there's just amazing stuff that are happening right now. Well, for one, I gotta tell y'all, I know as much as I talk about, farmers markets and so forth, today, you should go. St. Paul's Winter Farmers Markets opens today. So from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. Saturday, and that's December 3rd to April 15th. Why can't April 15th come fast enough? Anyway, along Wall Street and Golden Deli, inside Golden Deli, that is. The address is 275 East 4th Street in Lower Town. I know I'm jumping right in because there's a number of other food farmers markets that I'd like to discuss and talk about. But some examples of what food items are actually going to be available at the farmers market. There's going to be baked goods, cheese, chocolate, eggs, honey, jams, and jellies. I really like the baked goods. I remember I had gotten some ciabatta last season from inside the Winter Farmers Market from one of the vendors there. It was amazing stuff. I like the way that, one, it's done, prepared locally, the address and everything that's on the label and the packaging. And it's fresh. It's not something that has been sitting out, a couple of weeks or something like that. No, they prepare it that prior week. And not even that prior week. I think they even mentioned that it was like a few days, and because they had to do the packaging and so forth. Anyway, but aside from that, the cheese, the variety of cheese that is available from the vendors that are there. When you're a foodie, if you don't feel the same way, I think you probably have to get involved enough to really understand about the different types of cheeses. And for me, how the first thing I start to think of is what can I do with this cheese? What can I add to it? What can I make with it? All of that. So having the variety of cheeses that they offer, and this is again just at the St. Paul's Farmers Market, Winter Market. Let me specify that it's the Winter Market, and again, it's going to be from December 3rd today to April 15th. That's along Wall Street, and then inside Golden Delis. That's from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. So already you're about an hour behind. Get out there, please. As I'm always going to talk about farmers markets and so forth, but ones that are in the area or abroad. If you're streaming the show live, if you're listening in Cali, I know you got farmers markets there too. But here in St. Paul, East St. Paul, the surrounding areas, information for you. For instance, like Oakdale. Oakdale has one. Theirs is not this week. Theirs starts next week. But theirs is a little bit different. The Oakdale Indoor Market. It's Saturdays, December 10th, January 7th, and the 21st, February 4th, and then the 18th, March 4th, and the 18th. And it's located at the Oakdale Discovery Center. And so if you're familiar with that, it is located, the address is 4444 North Hadley Avenue. And theirs is going to be from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. So you have time. You can prepare, get an idea of what things you might be interested in, but definitely the St. Paul Farmers Winter Market. Gotta keep saying that. I'm excited more about having the farmers market in general be available. So don't judge me. Don't judge me. As I was driving in this morning, the things that were in my head, I was, for whatever reason, thinking about Nat King Cole singing, the Christmas song or the holiday song. Chestnuts roasting on an open fire, Jack Frost nipping at your nose. Sorry. It's cold outside too, so that's all what's adding to all of my what the craziness that's going on in my head right now. So I know the goofiness. But getting back to the farmers markets that are available, that one that I mentioned for Oakdale, they have a number of items too that are a little bit different, but still the same. Vendors are different, or they may go from farmers market to farmers market. But the samplings of foodstuffs that they offered there, canned products, root vegetables, root vegetables being sweet potatoes, yams, so forth, bakery items, chocolates and candies. This is the actual perfect time to have or make foodstuffs like chocolates available, because in the cold, you're, especially if you're doing things like turtles or cashew clusters, pecan clusters, which is giving me an idea. So I gotta remember to go get some cashews and stuff, and some caramel, however you would like to pronounce it. But this is the perfect weather to preserve those. You could have them out and about, and they don't quickly melt, even in your little warm hands. But frozen strudel, coffee, and sausages. These are just, again, some of the things that are available at the Oakdale indoor market. So remember, they are located on 4444 North Hadley Avenue. I always wonder, when the other vendors that have their, either vegetables and so forth, do they work specifically on seasonal items, or do they have like crops or do harvesting of their food items like year round? Of course I know that they have to, the growth, preparing, cultivating the soil and so forth. But I've always wondered about that. I want to do a little bit more research and find out, maybe from some local vendors that are always at the farmers market. I know some friends that used to live on Wilson Avenue. They have, or had, a neighbor right across the street from them that was a frequent vendor at, I would say, at least more than one farmers market. Definitely the St. Paul Farmers Market, but then also I think he mentioned that they are also on the farmers market on University in the Midway area. So, or at least close to the Midway area, because it's right at the corner or near the corner of, or the intersection of, is that Dale? Yeah, I believe it's Dale and University. But they always have an entire truckload, and they were nice enough one year or one season to give us bags of vegetables, and man, I miss those days. Those friends don't live over there anymore, but still, the opportunity to go to the farmers market and see what's available is it's always an adventure. For me, it's fun because it's part of, I consider, my research. and the things that I do for the show. So definitely want to give a shout out to all these farmers markets and their vendors that are out there. I know it's in the cold, but thank you so much for providing us with nutritious items, if you would, organic, growing neighborhood and community gardens that you have the responsibility of taking care of. So thank you so much. It's greatly appreciated. I mean, I know I'm a single individual saying that, but still, I appreciate the fact that they're available. I was talking to I can't remember who I was talking to, but it was another friend, and we were talking just about the opportunity to cook at home. And I know the grocery stores offer certain things, a number of, vegetation and so forth that's available, but sometimes you don't want to have to worry about, they may not have certain things that you really want and that that you could get from the farmer's market. So the farmer's market, I like kohlrabi, and I don't remember seeing that really ever at a grocery store. Maybe I just haven't looked hard enough, or I probably just haven't gone to the right grocery store. Which reminds me, I have to go to the Asian market today. Yeah. I think I'm going to I need some green beans and some pork belly. The next farmer's market that I want to bring out and mention, this one, this one's popular because how do I say it? It's huge, it's big, and it starts today. Again, there are a number of them that are starting today, but Minneapolis farmers markets. It's from 9 a.m. to noon on Saturdays. That's December 3rd, which is again today, and then it is on the 10th and the 17th. The various dates that are in January, so it's the 2nd and the 21st. It's almost like it's 2 days out of each month up until spring, or at least until April. The last date is April 8th. So you have, they offer a wide variety of things, but there's just something about going to someplace that's smaller and local. You get to know the different vendors, taking nothing away from Minneapolis farmers markets, because they offer arts and other crafts, as well as artisan type of foods. I mean, you could go there and I won't say sample, but you could have breakfast, you could have lunch, and possibly even a early dinner if you stick around. I mean, I know it's only open until noon o'clock, but noon o'clock till noon. Just until noon. But because of the different variety of items that they offer, and these are cooked items too, so you could go there and have breakfast. Few vendors down, they'll offer some sausages or something of that nature, and then someone might have I'll just say a taco or Mexican cuisine or something there at the farmers market, the Minneapolis farmers market. So it's a variety of different foods that you can find, aside from the different foodstuffs that the vendors are offering, like frozen meats and poultry and cheese. There's just something about having fresh chicken, or any type of meat actually, and I think it's giving me a hunkering for for some chicken. It's a really goofy day right now. I don't know what is happening in my head. I have no idea. I'm a bit excited. I just because I don't know. Maybe because the winter, definitely talking about the winter farmers markets just around the cities. and what's in the neighborhood. But I am excited because of an event that I'm supposed to be going to, which if you were at 7th Street Live that was hosted by WEQY in August, you most likely had an opportunity to see all the different food trucks that were there. And one particular food truck, they were offering egg rolls. So, of course, I, being the foodie that I am, needed to go off and make sure that I tasted a number of things as possible. Well, this one, it was the Egg Roll Queen. Well, the Egg Roll Queen, I'm jumping a little bit around because I'm telling you about my excitement about things that are happening. So I'll get back to one or two more farmers markets that I'm going to mention in a moment. But the Egg Roll Queen is going to be offering she's booked. But I'm quite sure that she's going to be offering another food tasting. But there's going to be a food tasting today. It's already started. It started at 10 a.m. and it's going to go all the way till 5 p.m. I'll talk about that in just a moment. Let me finish up with these farmers markets, just in case, if you're out and about and around the city and you're trying to find maybe an exciting farmers market to go to that will be available today. I mentioned, again, the Oakdale one. I mentioned the Minneapolis farmers market. And definitely St. Paul. St. Paul. But Mill City Indoor Winter Market, they are open today. And again, I'll give you the various dates that are available. They are open from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. They start today, Saturday, December 10th. December 3rd. They'll be open December 10th, the 17th. In January, they will be available just January 14th and 28th. February, only one day, February 11th. March 11th and 25th. April 8th and the 22nd. And this is going to be at the Mill City Museum. The address to the Mill City Museum is 704 South 2nd Street. That's in Minneapolis. And again, that's 704 South 2nd Street, Minneapolis. That's the Mill City Indoor Winter Market. And I think I may have forgotten to give you all the Minneapolis farmers markets. You probably already know exactly where it is. But the address is 312 East Lindale Avenue North. So again, that's the Minneapolis Farmers Market, 312 East Lindale Avenue North. The Mill City Indoor Winter Market, that is 704 South 2nd Street. That's in Minneapolis. They're going to have lots of food as well as art. And get involved out there. There are some other farmers markets that I've not been to this one, but this is the Minneapolis Neighborhood Roots Winter Market. They're going to be opening in January, on Saturday, I think January 28th. But it's going to be at Bachman's Greenhouse. That's at 6010 Lindale Avenue. They're going to offer some. I didn't know that apples would possibly be in season, but it says that the sampling of foodstuffs that's going to be available, meats, apples, cheese, chocolates, of course, dried beans, cold pressed juice, kimchi, sauerkraut, and other sauces and syrups. They're also going to have, and for adult beverages, adult beverages meaning wine and beer for by the class. So don't ask me, young people out there. Where's this place again? No, I'm kidding. But they're going to actually offer that, the adult beverages, through an effort that, cooperative effort of Fulton. These are different brewers. Fulton, and then Kingfield and Nokomis Farmers Markets of South Minneapolis. So that's going to, and I appreciate that it's going to be a neighborhood roots winter market. So if you want to find out more information about that specific one and you're out and about or you live within the area, again, that's going to be 6010 6010 Lindale Avenue North. You can find out more information about the Minneapolis Neighborhood Roots Winter Market at Neighborhood Roots MN. That's Neighborhood Roots, M as in Mary, N as in Nancy for Minnesota.org. And it'll give you more information specifically about the winter market that they'll be offering in the south portion of St. Paul. You know, we have, like I said, a lot of different farmers markets that are available, but what does everybody think about growing your own vegetables at home? I know we've talked about community gardens in the past, but do you have your own garden? Or if you have, a space to grow something, what are you growing? Is it just like standard, like tomatoes and peppers maybe? How successful are you? What kind of bountiful crop do you have? I keep telling myself that I need to visit some friends that are around the corner and kind of like pick some vegetables from out of their garden. Aside from what they would most likely, have available and say, here, take these with you. I just need to go over there and just, hey, I need some tomatoes or some chilies. What kind of things do you all grow, listeners? What do you grow out there? Let me know. You could always leave that information on my Facebook page if you'd like. Or if you want to kind of call in and maybe talk a little bit about the different things that you're growing in your garden, feel free. Here at 651-200-3479, you could always call in and briefly share what you are growing in your plot of land. You never know, somebody might come by and say, hey, why don't we come together and make your plot grow a little more? Oh, wow, wait a minute. Oops. I just noticed something, but wow. Dropped something on the ground. That was funny. Let me talk about the egg roll queen tasting. Like I mentioned, I'm excited to go to this. It's from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. What she's doing, which I don't think I've ever gone to something like this before, so that's why I jumped at the chance to go. But she's looking for additional dishes to add. I mean, everybody knows that she, really prepares really great egg rolls. But she's looking for other dishes to have available as well. So, she put the word out there and said, hey, if you're interested and you'd like to help me decide what other type of dishes to add to their menu, please get in contact with us. So, I did. And I'm really looking forward to it. And she has gotten really full to capacity, the number of spaces that she has. And, it's a shame that there was an additional space that was available, because I know that there are 2 or 3 other friends that I know would have loved to have gone. But I feel privileged to actually have gotten a space and looking forward to it. Again, it will be an event that has already started. It will be from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. today. My spot, anybody be out there, please say hello to me please say hello. I'll be in the time slot of 12 to 1 o'clock. Again, looking forward to tasting the wonderful food that she is supposed to be preparing and giving us the opportunity to give our opinions or viewpoints on what is going to be on her menu. So look out for that. I hope I'm able to take some pictures. Don't be mad, egg roll queen. I will be taking pictures. I will be taking pictures. I want to give a shout out to some folks. This is a little bit of a distance. Well, first, even before I start that, let me first apologize. I had gotten ill during the week, and so I had made a schedule that I was going to be talking about this week about Mrkts, and so that whoever that is needs to stop pinging me right about now. Please stop pinging me. But Mrkts, I did not get a chance to go to them because I was ill. So that will be on next week's show. The same thing with Coffee Cup. I have been to Coffee Cup many, many months before, and I enjoy it. So I'm not even going to try to talk about it just from that past experience. I want to give you a more up-to-date food experience, or talk about a visit that I would most recently have. So because I can tell you about Coffee Cup, I could tell you where it's located, which is at the corner of Rice and Arlington. They are available from 5:30 a.m. to 3 p.m. on a daily basis. So Sunday through Monday, Sunday through Saturday. Sorry, they are available. But again, like I said, I wanted to provide you with more of a earlier experience, or more recent experience. I think that's probably better, rather than trying to talk about something that I've had months ago. I think it's only fair to you as my listeners. You want to hear about, recent experience, rather than something that's old. But their food is good, so I am not denying that at all. You don't have to worry about, oh, well, how do we know that the food is still going to be good? No, trust me. There's always a line. It's always busy. A number of friends could definitely attest to how great it is. So I say all that. Next week's show will actually I'll be discussing that and bringing that to your attention. It's a neighborhood. They're both neighborhood restaurants that, from what I'm hearing, the reviews from Mrkts are very good. I can't express all the different types of reviews that I was seeing online about it. I'm not even going to talk about Coffee Cup again, or talk about the reviews on Coffee Cup, because I'm not biased, but I look at it from the standpoint of, okay, well, when I see a line of people, or I know that the parking lot is always full, I know that the food is great. And they're neighborhood folks. They're constantly coming back to the same place. And at times, I trust, when I see an older crowd, husband and wife, they're going in together. I trust that crowd. I trust those type of folks. Aside from myself going in there and having, a meal, I look at older ones and think, man, they must have been coming here for many, many years. Why not, frequent an establishment like Coffee Cup? Anyway, once again, next week, I assure you that will be on the show, and we will be talking about both of those. So, Mrkts, I will be visiting you. It might even be tomorrow, because I don't have any plans. So, yeah, I think I might have to do that. Sounds like a plan for lunch, actually. that would be pretty awesome. I had looked on their menu and I was seeing all the different things that were available. So I'm really excited about it. And it's in the neighborhood. So and it's not far from the radio station. So after I leave, not today, tomorrow, I drive past and I always see it. Makes me jealous. I want to give a shout out to all those that are currently listening to the Un-Bougie Foodie today on Saturday on WEQY, the voice of the East Side. I really want to appreciate and say thank you to all our listeners that are out there. I look forward on a weekly basis providing you with new and exciting places and just telling you and sharing you my food experience. As well as photos of the different types of foods that are available or that a restaurant may offer. If you're interested in seeing what those are, certainly visit my Facebook page on WEQY, the voice on Facebook, the Un-Bougie Foodie. I'm directing you towards WEQY, but on Facebook, the Un-Bougie Foodie. And then I always post pictures of photos on Instagram. I'm an Instagram person as well. There's just something about sharing food with people from near and far. And that's what Instagram offers, that opportunity. So, yeah, it's great. So if you're on Instagram, definitely look for me there, as well at the Un-Bougie Foodie, and that's the _Un-Bougie Foodie. My apologies. The place that I want to talk about, though, and I have shared those photos on my Facebook page. It is called the Wilder Scratch Kitchen. Now, I was afforded the opportunity by an associate that has been introducing me to just a wide variety of restaurants and chefs and places that he suggested, not only to give them an opportunity for me to talk about them on the radio station, but we just talked about food and was just running down the different restaurants that were available or people that I need to talk to or do interviews with, so that they could talk about their food experiences and how they've gotten into the food industry or their culinary artistry that they offer. And I gotta say, with the Wilder, Scratch Kitchen, specifically, Chef Jeffrey Lundmark, thank you so much for the experience that I had recently. You all went above and beyond, and it was greatly appreciated. I hope to definitely be back. I know that it is a distance out. They are located in Bayport, Minnesota. So that's going east on 36, as though you were going to Stillwater. But it was just a night out, a different experience. It's not very often that I drive a distance for a meal, but they are located at 338 5th Avenue North. That's in Bayport, Minnesota. Their website, if you're interested in seeing, aside from seeing the photos that I've posted on my Facebook page on the Un-Bougie Foodie, they offer a wide variety of great American fare, comfort foods. I want to say, it sounds corny, cliche, and I'm not that way. Really, I'm not. But it feeds your soul. It's good food. He's very creative, very unique when it comes to the types of dishes that are prepared. But if you want to go to their website, it is thewilderscratchkitchen.com. And I got to say that it's very affordable. The most expensive thing on the menu is their, what is it? The braised short ribs. Actually, I take that back. It's the filet steak. That's the most expensive thing on the menu at $24. But it's steak sauce, sweet potato hash, mortadella, and harissa. Now, I forgot what harissa is, and I wrote it down. I'll have to find it. Anyway, my experience going there, that was one of the featured items that he shared with us that evening. Very generous. With creating, a food opportunity for us to taste various things that are on the menu. Mind you, I went there with the intent of having the braised short ribs. Now, the braised short ribs, that's only $20. And again, it has my favorite vegetable on the menu, which is Brussels sprouts. But again, the braised short ribs, it would have been prepared with potato puree, sauerkraut, Brussels sprouts, and a mustard sauce. And that's at $20. They have or prepared. I did not have that. That was what I was intending on. That was what was in my budget, and I was probably going to have a glass of cider with that, and most likely some dessert. But I guess I was in good company because he came out and discussed with us and asked hey, thanked us for being there and visiting the restaurant, but also just talked about the style of the food that they offer there. And again, I mentioned comfort food, items such as mac and cheese. I was going to just talk about fried chicken and waffles. I'm not sure what the draw is. I know what the draw is. No, I phrased that incorrectly. I know what the draw is, because I'm from California, and I'm sorry, Roscoe's Chicken and Waffles. There are so many other places. I know their Revival offers chicken and waffles. The Wilder offers chicken and waffles. So again, I know what the draw is. The different type of styles that each of the restaurants do with their preparation of either the chicken or the waffle, the mixture between the two. That is exciting. For example, with Wilder's Scratch Kitchen, they have it as being a breast and a leg, but the actual waffle is a cheddar scallion waffle, and then offers a chipotle maple syrup. Now, that night, when we were having, if you would, it wasn't even really a food tasting. I think he was just bringing out different dishes and asking us what we thought on it. He did a different variety of that. I believe he cut perhaps the dark portions of meat from the chicken, probably either a thigh, but the seasoning that he used to cook this chicken was flavorful. It wasn't overly seasoned, and it was moist. And even though it had gravy, you could distinctly tell that the chicken alone by itself had flavor through and through. It wasn't being masked by the gravy. or anything else. So there was no chipotle maple syrup, although I could only imagine how that must have tasted, because chipotle gives you a smoky aroma with that maple, so that savory and smoky aroma and taste that you would have, and then to have that over some chicken, and then over that waffle. The waffle is like a biscuit, basically. So it's more dense. It complements the chicken or just the dish all together. So really, you have to go there to truly experience it. We started off with, pickled deviled eggs. And again, if you see that on my Facebook page, it's a beautiful presentation that he offered. And I like deviled eggs anyway, but we were trying to figure out what are the items that are, some type of vegetable, or is capers a condiment? No, not really. It's probably just something that you add to a salad or to a pasta dish. Anyway, we couldn't figure out what it was at first because it had a different texture. But the taste though just was very distinct. And the couple or friends that I was with, John and Kathy, we were trying to figure out what is it, and when you go sometimes to a new restaurant, you taste. Okay, I do. I'm not saying anyone else does, but I taste when it's something as unique as this. I taste all portions of it one by one. So I will either use my fork and taste, one piece of the vegetable or one part of maybe the meat before I really take and enjoy the whole entire bite of whatever has been presented. But that's what I did with this one. I tasted the actual, I guess, the egg mixture, the yolk mixture, to see what it tasted like by itself. And then I did the same thing for, now that I know, the capers on top. But I had to pick off just individually, one by one, to try to figure out what they were. And then finally he came out and I asked him, I was like, what is that? I want to say what it is, but I don't want to be wrong and be embarrassed. He was like, it's a caper. It's a deep fried caper. I was like, I know it tasted, it almost was like an anchovy. I knew it was something similar to a caper, but I wasn't sure because it had that saltiness to it. But it was a perfect balance between the egg itself being pickled, and then the yolk mixture and the small sprig of dill. And the way that they presented it too was that egg was placed on a slice or layer of a sugar beet, which, I mean, together, when you put it all in your mouth, the mixture of all of the flavors, I don't want to make it sound all goofy by saying, it was an explosion of taste and flavors. And it was awesome. It really was. It was just good. And that was just to start off. There was another dish that I don't think, and it was just an appetizer, and I don't believe that it's on the menu. Or maybe he was just trying it out, or because he felt it was a special moment, he wanted to share a new creation with us or whatnot. But it was hearts of palm fries. And yes, you heard me. Hearts of palm. Hearts of palm is a vegetable. A lot of times you will find it in a salad, but it has a very it's a round stalk, for the plant itself. But the way that they prepared it for the evening, if you would, they cut them up, and they pre-prepared them, of course, but they cut them up in fry shapes, very long rectangular shapes, and then they fried them. Looking at the picture, you would not think that those are a vegetable that is found in a salad, especially if you're familiar with hearts of palm and the way that it tastes. I wasn't hesitant. I was excited just by looking at when he brought it out with the microgreens, and then there's an aioli sauce that comes along with it. I'm telling you, it looks like a little, I'm looking at the picture right now, but it looks like logs that are laying up on top of one another. The way that they presented it just made it look very appetizing. So, and there was enough, as you could see on the plate, there were 3 of us. We had a sufficient amount. I really hope that they either keep that on the menu or bring it back. But I was glad that he was willing to share that with us. I'm going to jump back to the steak, the filet steak. Again, these were smaller portions just to give us a sampling of what is on the menu. But that filet steak was amazing, and I enjoy my steaks. I enjoy red meat. I don't even eat it as often because of, just the importance of dietary, of course, but also sometimes, our digestive systems might not be as willing to appreciate it as our taste buds. But this was really great because this was filet steak, and it was laid or presented on a bed of sweet potato and apple hash. So with microgreens on top. Normally it's presented again with steak sauce and so forth, but the fact that they for the sampling, it was just something very simple but done so well. The sweet potato and apple hash underneath that they layered the steak on was almost like it was caramelized and candied. But still, both the sweet potato and the apples were really tender, so you were able to taste. It still had a texture to it, but was very, very, very soft and very tender. Not to even mention the steak itself. I mean, that alone was great by itself, without having any type of additional steak sauce or seasonings or flavorings and so forth. So their preparation of these items that they provided, there are other items too, such as mac and cheese. I got to talk about the dessert. The dessert, it was a goat cheese panna cotta, and I was never familiar with the term or the type of dessert panna cotta. So that's PANNA COTTA, but it is oftentimes done with either some cheese or milk, and then some gelatin is added to it, and it's placed in the refrigeration, and you can prepare it. They said it's simple enough that you're able to prepare at home, so has me thinking that I need to go off and do something like this at home, and maybe with some strawberries and drizzle. Possibly there's a cordial that's out there that I would love to reduce and use as a drizzle over this homemade panna cotta that I'm probably planning to do sometime in the near future, and just drizzle it over. It's called Liquor 43. It's it's not really a liquor. I should say it's a liqueur. And again, referred to as a cordial. But for a dessert, reducing it down and then drizzling it over this type of dessert will be perfect. But the way they presented it was just really by itself, along with some candied beets and then edible flour. So it ended the night just perfectly, because it was just the right amount of how do we want to say it, sweetness. And the goat cheese was it's mild anyway by itself. But then the gelatin, it was a firm piece of dessert, and just one that want to talk about friends with, especially if they've not had it before. I showed some friends on, the photos, and they're like, "What is that?" And I explained it to them, and they're like, "Well, we've never had that before." I'm like, neither have I. Anyway, we are coming to the end of the show. Not fully yet, but I want to give a shout out to, again, all my listeners out there. If you have an opportunity to share a recipe or so on my Facebook page or through email, please feel free to do so. Email is the Un-Bougie Foodie at gmail.com. Those recipes or suggestions and so forth will be shared on the show. So please feel free to do so, because again, as always, I'm very open to share that information if you're willing to share it. Next week, as I mentioned, I am going to be talking about and giving you feedback, my reviews from Mrkts Italian as well as Coffee Cup. Sorry I didn't do that this week because I was sick, but there's always next week, which is the important reason why you need to tune in, so you could hear that information. And then, of course, more information about new places that are opening up in St. Paul. I know there's a place currently called Public Kitchen. They're going to be opening up a little bit of a special place downstairs from Public Kitchen. I have not been to Public Kitchen, but they are affiliated with Handsome Hog as well as with Oxcart Ale House. So those are ones that I know that I have actually gone to, and I really dig the food there. Both of them. I mean, Handsome Hog, snout to tail. Who can go wrong with offering snout to tail? No one. So if it is within your power to visit like those places, please do so, along with Public Kitchen. That is probably going to be a venue that I'll probably visit in the near future, and we'll talk more about it. Next week will be having a conversation about soups, and maybe even talk about maybe a chili recipe or two, because we are in the time frame where you need to be cooking in the kitchen where it's warm and making your own comfort food. I think I probably need to learn how to do some cornbread. I don't know how to do cornbread. I'm a little bit embarrassed to say that, but I like to bake stuff. But anyway, thank you again for tuning in. I want to give a shout out to Boo Boo and the Two Bears. You know who you are. I want to shout out to friends that are and family that are listening in California. Thank you all so much for your support. Individuals that are giving suggestions as to certain restaurants in the area. Again, keep them coming. I really appreciate it, because these are ones that not only do I get an opportunity to experience a food that you probably have experienced and enjoyed, but I get to share it with other people on a larger scale within the community. I do want to talk about or mention one specific subject that I would like to ask my audience to consider for next week. That, what is your favorite item in the kitchen that you use, that you feel that you can't live without? Leave some information on my Facebook page. Again, I'll put that information or that question out there so that you could answer. But what is your favorite item? And it could be anything. I mean, I don't want to say the usual, like, oh, microwave, but something that you feel that is just a staple, or that is a fixture in your kitchen that has to be there. You can't cook without it, or you can't prepare meals without it, without using it, or that's what helps you prepare the types of meals that you offer, or that you're making for your family. Let me know, and we'll talk about that. We'll be taking calls next week about that subject, along with all the other topics that I'm talking about, and as always, about food. But once again, thank you all so much for listening. Tune in again next week, Saturday at 10 a.m., where we'll be talking more about food and topics, as I've already mentioned, that you could call in at WEQY and share with us and other members of the neighborhood and the community. As always, as I end my show, I want to remind you all, please don't let anyone ever tell you what type of foodie to be, because really it is all about the food. Peace and blessings. Thank you all. Have a good one.